Hello, my dears. My name is Mariana, and welcome to my channel where we explore mysticism, magic, and meaning. Today's topic is a beautiful one because today we're going to talk about meditating with the tarot. Before we get into it, though, I just want to... This is Pandora. Hi. She doesn't care. So, let's do it. There are 3 ways that you can meditate with the tarot that I want to show you. They are ones that I've tried out in my personal practice and I think are really, really grounding, awesome techniques. So before you really begin any kind of meditation, I think it's really important to consider your space. How do you cultivate sacred space when you're meditating? This is something we overlook all the time, right? It's like, I have 10 minutes, let's just meditate. Let's just sit down and close our eyes and just do it. So if you're anything like me, you might just try to get your meditation minutes in on the train or while you're walking or in the shower. It's a weird one. But we want to create a space that feels holistic, that feels like it's going to heal us and really be supportive for our deepening. If you're into oils, get your diffuser on. If you're into incense, light it up. If you're into candles, surround yourself. Don't actually surround yourself. That's a fire hazard. Be thoughtful and intentional about the space you create so that you can nurture yourself in the way that you're trying to. Personally, I like to light a candle. I like to put on some music, maybe some singing bowl sounds, something that's going to make me really soften and release a lot of that egoic mania that I'm in all the time. I'm an Aquarius rising, so I think I can save the world. So before you even begin the meditation, spend a couple minutes just being in your space, releasing into it, and just be. Just be present. Presence. So the first technique is a philosophical meditation. This is the type of meditation that the ancient Greeks did, Plato and Marcus Aurelius and Aristotle, when they took the world and deconstructed it into consumable bits and grand macrocosmic theories that told us how to be better humans. This type of meditation requires nothing but your brain. And some people might say,
aren't we supposed to turn off our minds while meditating?
The truth is, yes, we're supposed to turn off our egoic thinking mind, and no, it doesn't mean we need to stop thinking. Our egoic thinking minds are the part of us that like to remind us
of all the ways that we haven't accomplished the things we set out to do, and all the things that we need to do right now, and all the ways that we've developed anxieties over parts of our lives that we literally have no control over.
That's the part that we want to turn off when we're meditating. It's not very helpful. But we can use our brains actively while meditating to think about the things that we want to focus on. When we're using tarot to meditate in this way, it's pretty simple. You pick a card, you can do it at random, or you can take a card that you've been working with, and you just contemplate it, you ruminate on it, you ponder all its meaning and depth. And you can take out your journal or maybe even press record on your voice recorder and just talk about what that card means to you. You can dive into its microcosmic meaning in your life, how this card shows up in people around you, how you relate to the archetype of the card, what kinds of feelings and emotions it engenders in you as you're meditating on it. Or you can look at it in a macrocosmic way. You can pick up the Lovers, for example, and contemplate our problematic cultural assumption that romantic love is supposed to erase depression and create perfect happiness. Basically, how you want to think about the tarot is up to you, but the more that you allow your brain to explore wherever it needs to, the more that you'll understand the card on an intellectual level, and the more that you'll understand yourself. You'll understand your beliefs better, you'll understand your desires better. And so the meditation, while maybe not silent, is really deepening and really profound for exploring our humanness. So the second type of meditation I want to talk about is a pretty simple mantra meditation. I think that this meditation really does well when you begin with mindfulness and you just sort of take the card and notice all the aspects of the imagery that stand out to you. Notice if any feelings come up or associations come up. Notice if you are projecting feelings onto the characters in the cards, or if you notice a detail that you've literally never seen before. Take all those things into account and then create a mantra for the card. For the Fool, for example, you may say something as simple as, I'm ready to take the leap. Or you might say something a little bit more personal or deep, like, I'm ready to dive into the wound that needs healing. There's lots of different formulations you can come up with, but basically when you feel like you have a mantra that encapsulates the card, now you can get into some super luscious meditation. Start with breath work. I think whenever you're doing a sort of mindfulness meditation, breath is just the most important thing, not only because it gets the egoic mind to shut up a little bit, but also because it reminds us that we are human bodies having a spiritual experience. So begin with breathing in and out in even pulses, feeling that breath really saturate the body. And then in between breaths, just repeat the mantra. And then the more that you get into this space and the more relaxed you become, you can let that mantra go bit by bit until it doesn't need to be something you say out loud or in your head, but it just becomes one with your breathing. So every time you're breathing, you feel your body saying, I'm ready to take the leap. And then exhaling all of that into the world as almost like a manifestation practice. Basically, you're just using the tarot as a tool to deepen your meditation practice with the archetypes and images and messages that can just get you closer to yourself. The third type of meditation I want to discuss, and my favorite, is active imagination visualization meditation. There's too many shuns in that, I apologize. And of course, the reason that this is my favorite meditation is because it involves Carl Jung. If you want more information about my obsession with Carl Jung, see the video. That'll be linked at the end. Yeah. So basically what active imagination is a technique of really diving into the imagery that you already hold unconsciously. Jung created this after working with patients for decades and realizing that their dreams held so much material to dive into, but we can't control them, right? We can't keep going with a dream image in the waking world. But wait, you can. So the idea behind active imagination is just to take an image that you might experience in the dream world and allow the brain, the unconscious brain, to just run with it. It's kind of weird. It's kind of wonderful. I'm pretty into it. So when you're working with the tarot with active imagination, it's kind of a perfect marriage. You take the imagery of a tarot card and then you just allow your mind to create a weirdo, wonderful story with it. You can see yourself in the card with, for example, the Strength card meeting a lion and just watch your interaction, notice the feelings you have, and it's this really beautiful way of visualizing yourself inside the archetypal message of the card. Or what you can do, which I usually do when I'm working with this type of meditation, is to see myself watching the scene of the card and then noticing how I get involved with it. Noticing if I start projecting other people's faces onto these characters that are actually in my real life. Noticing what I start to feel, if it makes sense to me or if all of a sudden there's something else coming up that I didn't detect before. The really beautiful thing that happens when you're meditating in this way is that you kind of go into this dream state and you really just visualize yourself in this imaginal realm that holds so much unconscious material that can help you heal and process and just know yourself more deeply. So whatever way you decide to meditate with the tarot, I really hope that you find a practice for you that is both supportive and engaged and allows you to not only know the tarot more deeply, but know yourself, because that's the point. And if you really enjoy the idea of meditating with the tarot, but feel a little bit overwhelmed on how you can kind of set that up for yourself, I actually created a series of meditations with the tarot that include a piece of all of these different techniques. There's some reflection, there's some active imagination, and there's some straight up mindfulness, silent, meditative time. I have some luscious music that goes along with that, and even some downloadable reflection pages. So if that is something that you're interested in, I will leave a little link down in the description for you to check that out. And they're pretty great. So I'm tooting my own horn a little bit, but I mean, really, they're quite wonderful. So as always, thank you for watching. By allowing me to offer something to you for your journey, you're giving that right back to me. So I'm tremendously grateful. And have a beautiful, meaningful day.